now more than ever, we need independent, public access communications on all levels of communications. And so cutting the ribbon today is really a way to cut out the distortion of our media to the people of our city. And I'm excited, not only for those in Manhattan, but across the city. I think about my guys over in Brooklyn, in the Bronx, public access channels. All of you have come together and really made this a professional operation. So thank you for allowing me to be here and participate in the cutting of the ribbon. Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you, thank you. That's the energy we're looking for. On behalf of the MNN board and staff, I'd like to thank everyone here for showing up this morning to celebrate, and thank you for all of your help and participation in making this dream a reality. MNN has been working for a long time, for a number of years, trying to put together this 21st century media education facility. And we are incredibly appreciative of the amount of support and work and time and energy that we've received from everybody in this room, as well as incredible people all over the city. Thank you to the staff, thank you to the rest of the board. My name is Damian Benders, and I am the chair of the MNN board. Welcome to MNN's new 38th Street facility. We're incredibly excited to kick off this morning's festivities. I'm going to turn it over to Dan to take you to the next step.
Thanks so much, Damian.
Thank you.
Amazing board, tough decisions they made, and we're so, again, thankful and appreciative of all of you for all the work that you've done, especially over the last year, to make this facility a reality. You should all give yourselves a hand of applause, but I do want to say one thing before we do that. This wouldn't have been made possible without this mayoral administration. Because of their efforts, we got stuff done. Thank you very much, everybody. They made a huge difference in papers being signed, stamps being made, money flowing, and it was due to this administration. And it's very, very important, and we're so pleased to be part of a city that is coming back to life. And on that note, I'm going to introduce really quickly one of our key partners in this whole project, the New York City Economic and Development Corporation, and a few words quickly from Brenda Ganguly. Thank you, Brenda, for coming, and thank you to EDC for everything you've done.
Good morning. Thank you, Dan and Damian, for the introduction. And thank you for having me today as we celebrate MNN's state-of-the-art production and education facilities. My name is Brenda Ganguly, and I'm an executive director at New York City's Economic Development Corporation. I oversee the Strategic Investments Group, where Build NYC is situated. We're very excited to have worked alongside MNN to help bring high quality and affordable media education to all New Yorkers. For those who don't know, Build NYC helps nonprofits make real estate capital investments by providing access to low-cost debt through tax-exempt bond financing. MNN was able to secure tax-exempt bonds through Build NYC to build out and equip this beautiful facility with new modern production equipment for community use, including new control rooms, editing suites, classrooms, and office spaces. Build NYC is constructing a stronger and more equitable future by supporting organizations that expand access to education, healthcare, social services, and community infrastructure to New Yorkers across all 5 boroughs. We look forward to continuing to work with our partners to establish critical connections for nonprofits that serve the people of our great city. Thank you.
Thank you so much to everyone. MNN Public Access in New York City has been around for 50 years. We welcome our sisters and brothers from Staten Island, from Brooklyn, from Queens, from the Bronx here today who've done amazing work over the years. The mayor knows these centers firsthand for many, many years, going back in the day when he was with 100 Blacks in Law Enforcement Who Care, all the way through to his mayoral run. I know you were up at the firehouse doing an interview with Johnny Cruz, one of our longstanding producers, welcomed by Zenaida Mendez and the Salsa Museum. The mayor knows the importance and the power of local media, of communication, of information sharing, and the networks that exist here in MNN and other community media centers that don't exist with more traditional vertical media. So we appreciate you being here, Mayor, and we really appreciate our new city council members, and we want to invite some of our local city council members to come up and say a few words. In particular, Sean Abreu in the house. Where's Sean? There's Sean. All right, Sean's on the technology committee. First Latino to represent his district. Welcome, Sean Abreu. Thank you so much for coming.
Good morning, everybody. It is an exciting day as we inaugurate Manhattan Neighborhood Network's new Midtown location and break historic ground in making digital communication more accessible and culturally inclusive right here in the media capital of the world. New York City has a thriving, vibrant, and diverse media landscape, but access to equipment, technology, and media education programming is not distributed evenly. This new state-of-the-art space is dismantling barriers to entry in media. It is putting underrepresented communities first. It is amplifying voices that have been traditionally excluded from mainstream networks and platforms and investing in a shared, productive space for local journalists, storytellers, and content creators of all backgrounds. We will be better for it. As we open MNN's doors, we are simultaneously opening doors to individuals who have been shut out of the media space for too long. This new location is a big step in making New York City a more active, engaged, and informed society, and I'm proud to launch it with all of you. Thank you.
We do recognize the Manhattan Borough President. I love it if Mark, you could just join us real briefly. Again, somebody who needs no introduction, who's established himself at all sorts of different levels. Mark Levine, the Manhattan Borough President.
Thank you. The mayor's going to be our Mariano Rivera today. Wow. This is huge. This is a huge moment for Manhattan, for media in New York City. You can only talk about MNN in superlatives. This is, I believe, the largest producer of television content in America. It's incredible. How many hours a week? Come on. I mean, it's
10,000 hours of original content every year.
Unbelievable. 10,000 hours of content a year. Over 1,000 producers. So, Damien and Dan, thank you for what you've built here. To my buddy Greg Sutton, who keeps the trains running on time and makes us look good when politicians come on the shows. A mi hermana Zenaida Mendez, ¿dónde está Zenaida? Haga bulla, Zenaida, por favor. A beloved leader of this organization for many, many years. There are, I believe, over 1,000 Manhattanites who are producing shows at different times of the day and week and month. And there's a few who have become stars, but for the vast majority, they would never, ever have the opportunity to produce a television program, to be on TV on a network that's in 400,000 homes or some huge number if it weren't for MNN. Huge engine for opportunity, especially uptown. MNN is incredibly important in Washington Heights and Harlem and East Harlem. There are just dozens and dozens and dozens of leaders who've gotten a voice here that would never have ever had the voice that you've given them. And then on the education side, another superlative, I think this is the biggest trainer in media production in New York City. an incredibly important career engine, and it just wasn't going to work in the old location. You needed to transition to digital, to virtual, to all the things you can do. You got a whole room with the green wall back here, all the things you can do in a modern setting. So you had to move, and you've done it here. Mr. Mayor, thank you for what you have done for making this possible. This is so big for Manhattan. I know, I can't even imagine the bureaucratic walls you had to break through. Thank goodness you had Chaplain Ingrid on your side. But what you've done here is meaningful, and I am so excited to celebrate with all of you. Congratulations, MNN. Thank you.
And part of that new tradition of new leaders, especially downtown here in my neighborhood, downtown West Village, is our new city council member, Eric Botcher. Thank you, Eric, for everything you're doing. We appreciate you.
Thank you. Welcome to Council District 3, everyone, and welcome to Hudson Yards. If you haven't been to Hudson Yards recently and you've got some time after this, I really urge you to walk around. This really is a neighborhood that's coming into its own every day. It's changing and changing. So please take a look around. I'm excited about MNN coming here primarily because it's going to help us address the digital divide here in our community. Council District 3 is one of the wealthiest council districts in the city. But even here, we have reservoirs of extreme poverty. Right across the street from Hudson Yards, at NYCHA Elliott Chelsea houses, we've got people living in horrific conditions with very little opportunity. We are not gonna be, we're unlike previous generations of leadership who have just looked the other way. And let's be honest, it happened. We're gonna address it. We're not gonna look the other way. So we're gonna address the physical conditions in which they're living, and we're creating a jobs network to get jobs and opportunity to the people who live here at all the companies that are moving here. But a big part of that is skills training and digital skills training. So I'm really excited to work with MNN to get the folks from Elliott Chelsea houses, from Fulton houses, into this studio, and the tremendous opportunity that this is going to provide is going to help generations of young people. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, everybody. I really appreciate you, everybody coming down and inaugurating this amazing new facility. And without further ado, I'd just like to introduce Mayor Adams, who's led the transition here the last year and a half and made this facility possible. The Adams administration, Mayor Adams. Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor. Appreciate you, buddy. Thanks for coming down.
Thank you, Dan, and the whole team. And Dan is right. There were many days that I conducted interviews here back in the days of 100 Blacks in Law Enforcement Who Care. And we were able to have a voice when traditional media did not allow us that opportunity to do so. And I want to thank EDC and my chief advisor for understanding that when we have these difficult tasks to do, I just drop it on her desk and said, bring it across the finish line. And she understood how important this is. And this is the product that will produce the product. And when I saw that there was a bottlenecking taking place, I knew how important local media is. And your task has changed. You have evolved to a different place now in communicating with people on the ground. There's a level of concern that I have in what is being fed to our families in general, but specifically what is being fed to our children. And we must take a pause as adults and do a reflection on what's happening to our children. And I'm going to continue to say this over and over again. I've been back and forth to China 6 or 7 times. They have a TikTok playing in New York and America that they won't play in China. They don't feed their children what we are feeding our children. Our little girls are being taught that they are not beautiful, and they are going through a level of depression that is unprecedented. The amount of suicide thoughts that our children are having are astronomical, and we have to push back. on what is being fed to our neighborhoods. And MNN is a way of doing so. We must lift up all of our public access channels, because you're going to tell the truth the way it is. You're not going to be using creative journalism to try to find a way to distort the views and opinions and realities that we are facing. The power of where we go lies in public media. I saw it from 30 years ago during my pursuit of dealing with police reform. I saw it as I ran for office. I saw it as the borough president. I saw it now, and I see it now as the mayor of the city of New York. I am so proud of this organization. You are a well-run, professional organization, open to allow anyone to come in and articulate their thoughts. But now more than ever, we need independent, public access communications on all levels of communications. And so cutting the ribbon today is really a way to cut out the distortion of our media to the people of our city. And I'm excited, not only for those in Manhattan, but across the city. I think about my guys over in Brooklyn, in the Bronx, public access channels. All of you have come together and really made this a professional operation. So thank you for allowing me to be here and participate in the cutting of the ribbon. Thank you. Got it? 1, 2, 3.
As we inaugurate this facility on this 50th anniversary of hip hop, we are so thrilled to be honoring this evening a community media pioneer who has for 40 years been a critical voice in developing and amplifying arguably the most significant form of cultural and artistic expression in the history of humanity, and that is hip hop. And it started here in New York City. For 40 years, Ralph, you have inspired us, you have educated us, you have made us feel special. Thank you for everything you have done. We appreciate you.
Yeah, it's been 40 years of you know, hanging out in places like this. You know, they didn't look so nice, you know, as this. And I remember coming to MNN and many others that were producing and wanted just an opportunity to tell a story, you know. And I was, you know, I felt good about myself. And all the producers that are here, you know, we just wanted to tell a story and feel good about telling somebody else's story. And that's what I got the opportunity to do in a place just like this. And so, you know, it's about the next generation of Ralph McDaniels and others that are here that have done some amazing work for over the years, and you know, who's going to be the next person to break the doors down and do other things. These spaces take us to many different places. My first film that I worked on was Juice, starring Tupac Shakur. I was an associate producer. That's only from working in spaces like this. That's only from being around people that, you know, that do this type of stuff, you know. And I've interviewed some amazing hip hop artists, some amazing people, you know, presidents of the United States, you know, the list just goes on and on and on. So many different people that I never thought that I would even be close to. And the camera and the microphone is taking me all around the world, everywhere. You know, I meet people that I would never think in the world they knew who I was. And then they go, oh, you Ralph McDaniels. I was like, how did you know who I was? But that's what the power of the television, the power of the media. And it takes you all over the world and all over the place. And so I'm honored to be here tonight with other folks that love what I do and love what you do. So thank you everybody for coming out, and I appreciate you. Eminem forever, all right?
And I would also like to, in particular, to acknowledge one person who started as a community producer here, who's from Hell's Kitchen, who was a housing organizer in Hell's Kitchen, who helped kick off and organize MNN. It used to be known as Manhattan Cable back in the day, Manhattan Access. Some of us who've been through the 30, 40 years of Manhattan cable remember it well, and all the very colorful characters. Zenaida Mendez from this area was instrumental in spinning off from the city and from the cable company and helping to organize this community space. Served on the board in the 1990s, just reached her 17th anniversary milestone as a staffer here. But that's not all. She served as the president for the National Organization for Women here in New York State. She started the Brides March, Women in White, as a struggle against violence against women, particularly patriarchal violence against women. And she's been a leader in the women's movement locally and internationally for many years. So Zenaida Mendez, as a resident of Hell's Kitchen and as an amazing community media activist, thank you for all you do. And thank you for reaching your 17th year anniversary.
There we go.